cats have been with us for centuries, as both cherished companions and assistants who keep the vermin in check. Yet here's the thing, we didn't train them to do either job. They chose to do so, and for their own reasons. There's something uniquely independent and self-contained about a cat, and for as long as they've been with us, we've made up stories trying to understand and explain them. Today I want to talk about a few of those legends. In Gaelic, the Cat Shei. In both Irish and Scottish lore, this fey creature assumed the form of a black cat the size of a dog, with one white spot on its breast. As early Christianity spread, their legend morphed to fit the new paradigm. One thing the Cat Shei was noted for, in this early transformational period, was the stealing of souls. In this, it was similar to the Japanese kasha, or demon cat, in that it was attracted to funerals and death, but it had no interest in stealing the body. It was after the very soul of the deceased, and all it had to do to obtain this prize was to jump over the body. To prevent this, a special watch was held, called the Fail Fadalic, meaning either late watch or tedious festival, depending on which translation you believe. The body would be guarded day and night to make sure no cat could approach it, which must have been tedious indeed. If there was a house cat residing, it would often be put outside for the duration, just to make sure, lest one think the Cat Shei was only interested in stealing souls. It had another habit. On the night of Samhain, later called Halloween, it would visit the humans' houses at night. If the people had put out a saucer of milk for the Cat Shei, they would be blessed with good fortune for the coming year. If they failed to do so, then instead all their cows would go dry. If the Cat Shei didn't get milk, then no one got milk. Now then, according to Lady Gregory, in her book Visions and Beliefs in the West of Ireland, quote, "all cats is fairies," unquote. It certainly would explain a lot. In Ireland around Lough Neagh, there was another legendary large black cat, but this one was the Lucky Bog Cat. While black cats in general elsewhere were considered bad luck, this particular cat was an exception. The Lucky Bog Cat was wild, elusive and seldom seen. If you happened to run across it, this meant happiness and wealth would be yours. Certainly, a nice long walk by the Lough was worth a try. Not to mention, it's another good reason to be nicer to black cats in general. After all, you never know. In Scotland and Wales, cats of any sort were often believed to be witches in disguise. In Scotland, it was believed that a witch could transform herself into a cat to better carry out her witchy designs, but there was a catch. She could only make the transformation 9 times, one for every life of a cat. After the 9th transformation, she could never change back to human again. Naturally, a Scottish witch had to be good at keeping count. In Wales, there's a story about an inn run by 2 winsome sisters. The inn had a reputation for relieving guests of their excess money. However, since guest rooms were locked from the inside, no one could figure out how it was being done. One guest, a retired military officer, was determined to find out. In full uniform, he took a room one night and before going to bed, chatted up the sisters and had an agreeable time. Upon retiring, he laid out his uniform on the floor, but unsheathed his saber and kept it close at hand. Later that evening, 2 cats slipped into his room through a small crevice and proceeded to paw at his uniform, and eventually one of them slipped a paw into the pocket where he kept his money. He struck the paw with the saber, and both cats ran away. The next morning, naturally, one of the sisters had a bandaged hand, and were revealed to be witches who had been robbing their patrons for years. Apparently, the Scottish limit of 9 transformations didn't apply to the Welsh witches. Again, according to Lady Gregory, it was believed that all cats were originally serpents and were transformed into cats during some time or other of change. This is why cats' hiss are so flexible and dangerous to mess with. Which I will also say would definitely explain a lot. After all, we are talking about cats,